Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out, okay? You'll get another Pulitzer, right? But you're going to have to figure that out. But there is a tremendous hatred.
The reality and the truth of the matter is you have never had to deal with what the other side of the world have had to deal with. That is a fact. That is the truth of the matter. You have never experienced what the Palestinians have actually had to go through. You don't know. You don't understand. Yes, some of you can say, I feel for the Palestinians and I understand. Yes, I know you understand. That's fine. And I appreciate that. But what you really don't understand, if for you to say you understand, you must have had to go through the same. And most of you have never gone through that. So when the other side is telling you that what America have done is horrible to us and we hate you, you're not listening. That is the problem. That is why we will never have peace. That is why conflict will never end. Because when dialogue fails, when communication fails, when people are trying to express themselves and letting you know that what you're doing is not right and we don't like it, you're not listening to that. These people, the people in power in your countries, in America, in the Western world, they're not listening to that because they enjoy the status quo. They continue doing the same thing. That is why violence will become the only option, the next option that is left. You in America, in the comfort zone of your country, you don't understand what the Iranians have had to deal with because of what the Americans were doing in the Middle East. You don't understand that and you don't care. And because your governments are crooks, they come back home and tell you that, oh, you see those people who are chanting death to America, they're crazy, they're demons, they're insane. That is why they're doing what they're doing. It's terrorism, the terrorism that they have created. Your government have created those terrorist groups and they've been funding them. And they come home and tell you that they over there, they are terrorists. And you listen to that. You listen to that brainwashing. So we cannot have dialogue. It's pointless to have dialogue. It's pointless to talk about kumbaya, let's live together in peace, because you are not listening. The peace that you are talking about must be defined by you, not by us. If you have heard about Africa, the colonization of Africa happened for close to a century. If we all sit down today, we will all agree that colonization was immoral and shouldn't have happened. But at that time, your government supported it. Your government sustained it to the point that Africans had to pick up arms, had to take guns and fight and shoot and kill some of those white colonizers who were in Africa in order to liberate ourselves, in order to free Africa. Why? Because dialogue didn't work. Because in as much as Africans were saying, no, what you're doing, guys, that is not right. It's unfair towards us and it needs to stop. But they were not willing to stop. They kept on going until violence was used to end it. That is the same situation that we find ourselves over and over again, because the West is not willing to listen. That is the problem. You are not listening. When the people in these other different countries in the global south are saying enough is enough to America. America, stop imperialism, stop neocolonialism. You guys, you act like the rest of the world is crazy. We are the angels here. Why does the world hate us? They hate you because of what you're doing. And you're not listening when the people are telling you to stop. That is the same thing. That is why the conflict between Russia and Ukraine exists today. Because when so many warnings were given, Putin said, stop. NATO must stop expanding. NATO must stop expanding because the West will always do what they always do. They never listen. They never care. They keep on doing the same thing over and over again until violence had to step in order to resolve the issue. Because dialogue doesn't work because you guys don't listen. That is the problem. Most of the countries from the global south have been calling for reforms in the UN Security Council and all these reforms and the monetary systems and all that. But the West is not willing to listen. They want to maintain the dominance. They will do it at any cost. Until the global south does something, until the global south stands up and says no and take action, nothing will ever be solved. So dialogue doesn't work. We cannot just live in peace and forget everything that is unfair and wrong in the world. That's not how it works. You cannot just come and bomb, like the same thing that the United States of America did to Iran now. Go on and then bomb them, and all of a sudden tomorrow you're like, oh no, let's have a conversation and be friends. That's not how it works. The West have destroyed so many countries in the Middle East. To be honest, if we want to be frank about it, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Yemen, so many people have been killed, have been murdered, and you still want to question why do Muslims hate us? Muslims are crazy. Come on, are you that delusional? What do you think? So those people must just be like, okay, thank you, America. Thank you for bombing us. You have killed millions of our children, millions of our people. You've destroyed our countries. We have no governments anymore. Everything is chaos now. It's fine. We're all good. Let's move on. Do you expect that from people? That is the delusion. That is the delusion that you are sold by your leaders, because they also don't want to tell you the truth. They manipulate the information that you get.